Hey everybody, thank you for coming back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to hop on here quickly because I wanted to go over my trades, talk a little bit, and I'm really gonna try to do more YouTube videos because I think it helps me, I hope it helps you in some way, and I just want to get better at it. Yes, I just want to get better at building YouTube videos, making sure I bring out the best content, the best of me, and yeah, just essentially, yeah, just crushing it. So, and I changed my camera angle, so let me know if you like it, what your thoughts are. Anyways, I am ready to jump into the charts, so let's dive right on in. All right, so let's start at the daily time frame. Actually, I want to start at the weekly time frame because we had a bank holiday yesterday, which was crazy considering how much the market moved. It actually moved like 78 points yesterday, considering it was a holiday. I was like, what is going on? But last week we traded down into these weekly fair value gaps, weekly volume imbalance levels. But as you can see, that weekly candle shot right through it down into this daily fair value gap, which when we drop down to the daily, I'll show you. But basically we went right through it and I wanted to see it close, like close right here, close so we could fill in that weekly fair value gap, weekly volume imbalance, but it didn't actually close. So, but the fact is we actually had a pretty large range new week opening gap. And yeah, we did have a bit of a closure on this fair value gap, but as you can see, it's not completely filled in. And it opened like right at the top of that weekly volume imbalance, which was kind of cool to see. So kind of understanding we didn't close below the weekly fair value gap, weekly volume imbalance means we're probably looking at a bullish week, I'm assuming. And we've also had like couple consecutive weeks of down close candles, and there's a lot of news in the market right now. So let's drop down to a daily chart. All right, so of course we can see it drop down into this daily fair value gap. This level right here is actually, yes, the weekly low, but if we go back to the weekly chart, look at this wick right here. You see this wick? Okay, look at this perfect retracement back to this consequent encroachment of that weekly wick. I mean, that is almost perfect. Like it just came right down on Wednesday and then it has been going higher ever since. So that was pretty cool to see. So we already have like potential to go higher considering we didn't close in this fair value gap on the weekly chart. Closed above this daily fair value gap, traded down into the weekly consequent encroachment of that wick, of the weekly wick. And yeah, I mean, we had a close here. We opened the week down here on Monday or on Sunday evening after the weekend, which again, that's a pretty large new week opening gap. So we're just gonna keep an eye out for that. And then we had this really beautiful large range day Monday, and then today of course we traded higher again, which was cool to see. And going into today I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, maybe we'll be selling, maybe we'll be shorting, and I'll kind of show you why my head was there. So right before we opened, we have like the small opening range gap, but we had these relative equal highs and these relative equal lows, and they're both like pretty much at the exact same level. I'm just gonna go right down to the 15 because it shows a better picture. So we made these relative equal highs. We did, however, trade lower, taking out this 15-minute sell side liquidity at 4 a.m. We took that out, but then we made relative equal lows. And then when we opened, we were kind of in the middle, and I was like, well, we've been going higher. Who am I to say it's the top? Maybe we're gonna continue to go higher. So I kind of didn't know. I was waiting for the market to show us a bit more information. I did have this consequent encroachment of the daily wick level there for a couple weeks now, just because we hadn't been able to cross it. And then this morning, we took out the relative equal highs, but then we continued to move higher and took out the consequent encroachment of the daily wick. So if we go down to the 5 minutes, we took out those highs and then we bolted through that consequent encroachment of daily wick. So right then I was like, okay, like we're probably gonna go for higher pricing. I had this New York AM session high / buy side liquidity. This is also a daily high, so those are key levels. So, I mean, we traded higher, we broke through this consequent encroachment of the daily wick, so we're breaking all of these higher buy side PD arrays, the premium arrays, right? And then, you know, ICT, he talks about if you break 3, you're next, essentially. So I was like, okay, we are gonna go higher to at least this New York AM session high buy side liquidity, and filling in this hourly inversion volume imbalance that I had marked out this morning. But I did want to see the low of this and then potentially reach into this. I was not expecting this. It's so funny that we got all the way up to this area though, because this is one of my weekly objectives. So the fact that we did it on Tuesday kind of is like, what? The fact we traded all the way up into this, this area is actually an old opening range gap that was never filled in. As you can see, it's up over here. You go down here to regular trading hours, and you see this opening range gap from Wednesday September 20th to Thursday September 21st. This opening range gap has yet to be filled in, so I just extended it over here, and look, we finally traded into it. Not by much, but we did manage to get to that level, which again is crazy to see considering, I mean, it's Tuesday. Anyways, so that was like very exaggerated. I did not catch that run at all. And even on the 5 minute here, there wasn't really a setup for me. So I was on the 1 minute chart. And as I was watching price, I did notice that there was this fair value gap. Considering we had a break in market structure here, fair value gap, I wanted to see these relative equal highs broken. I really wanted it to be traded into this at 10 o'clock, but we traded into it at 9:57 and then we rallied higher. So I was like, okay, I'm following my rules. I don't take an entry until 10 a.m. So I was like, okay, like that's fine. We're just gonna continue and see, you know, if we have another setup. So of course we had like this little down move here. We didn't get down into this fair value gap, as you can see right here. So this could be considered a breakaway gap. And then we did have this small little volume imbalance. Here, I'll zoom in. This small little volume imbalance and this very small fair value gap. And I was like, I'm going to combine the volume imbalance and this fair value gap just so that we could get a somewhat of a bigger entry point. But as you can see, look at how perfect this candle went down into this small 1 minute fair value gap at 10:05 a.m. perfectly. And then we kind of maneuvered around, finally taking off, hitting this volume imbalance high one more time before reaching into these levels. And then of course the New York AM session highs, which was beautiful to see. So my trade was this right here. Of course my stop loss is 5 points and then my take profit is 10 points. And of course our TP was more than 10 points away, which would have been this level right here. As you can see, it's more than 10 points away. Anyways, so that was kind of cool, kind of seeing the market come down into this fair value gap. We still managed to get into fair value gap. And yes, I did extend it a little bit just because the volume imbalance was right there, but technically they're both gaps, right? So that was cool to see. And then of course, I actually got to take this trade in my time frame of 10 to 11. we traded higher and eventually reaching into that old opening range gap. And then of course we had news at 1, but you guys know I stopped trading the afternoon sessions. So whatever I get in the morning is what I get. If I don't get anything, that's fine. I wait till tomorrow. So yes, that was my trade, and I hope you guys learned something. I also did want to talk a little bit about just how I've been feeling about trading lately and like what my thoughts are and how I've just been like feeling. I love trading because you determine your outcome. There is nobody there to stop you, there's nobody there to help you necessarily, and there's nobody there to tell you you can't do it. With trading, the effort you put in is the effort you get back. So if you're struggling, just know that the effort you're putting in is going to help you in the future, and it is worth it. And this business is so amazing because nobody can tell you no. Nobody's going to stop and tell you like, hey, you're doing that wrong. Like, you make your own future with this business. And I think that is just beautiful. Like, whatever you put in, you get out. So if you're half-assing it, you're getting half-ass results. But if you put in the work and the determination and you're here for the long run, you can see some magical things happen. So yeah, I just had that thought and I was like, I need to share it with you guys. Anyways, that is it for me. I hope you all enjoyed this video and I will be talking to you shortly. Bye now.